In this video, I want to talk about my messenger exercise that I worked on. To start, on lines 1 through 4, we have our imports. I specifically want to talk about lines 3 and 4. So, import select is a module that essentially allows monitoring of multiple file descriptors to see if they have any input or output available. And it's also used to wait for input on both the network socket and the standard input simultaneously. So argparse is a library that provides sort of a way to handle command line arguments, as we'll see down here. And to start, we're going to be talking about the run server function that I've created. This is essentially handling the server side of the exercise. So firstly, it's starting off by creating a socket and setting it up to reuse the same address. So as you can see, we're using it right here. This essentially helps in quickly restarting the server, even if like previously used ports are still in the time to wait state. Next, what we're doing is we're binding the socket to localhost and the specified port number. It's then listening for incoming connections, allowing one queued connection at a time. And then next, what we're doing is we're accepting an incoming connection from the client side. And once a client tries to connect, we then call the manage connection function, which establishes the connection by handling the data transmissions. And finally, after that's completed, we're closing the socket. So the next function we have is the run client function. This is essentially handling the client side. And we're providing a port number as the argument. And what we're doing here is, again, creating a socket and attempting to connect to the server, running on localhost at the specified port number. Again, we're using the manage connection function to handle the data transmission. And after the connections been completed, we're going to close the socket. All right, here's the bulk of the project. Essentially, it's in this manage connection function. So what we're doing here is we're entering a loop that continues until a condition is met that closes the connection itself. And we're using select.select here to wait for input from either standard input or the connection without blocking, essentially. And then what we're doing is we're reading from standard input, and if there's input from the user, it sends the data across the connection. And if the input stream ends, it's essentially shutting down the sending part of the connection. Here what we're doing is we're reading from the connection itself. It essentially receives data sent by the other end, and if the data is received, it'll print it out. And if the connection is closed from the other end, which can either be, again, server side or client side, it just exits the loop and it closes the connection once this loop is exited, ensuring that like no resources are sort of left hanging. And finally, we have our main function here. As I explained earlier, it's used to parse the command line arguments. And yeah, that's my project. Thank you.